A2theK, stories of progress. A2theK, stories of progress.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to Stories of Progress. We're your hosts, A2theK, and joining us today is the man who is worth every pound. He's a three-time Progress Tag Team Champion, Charlie Sterling. Charlie, thanks for being here, man. How are you?
Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm very well, very well. How are you?
Yeah, good, man.
Good,
Good.
yeah, not so bad. We'll start if we could, going right back to your Progress debut. So I believe you debuted back in 2021, teaming with Nick in the tag team tournament against Greedy Souls. So firstly, really just what are your memories from sort of that match and sort of, I suppose, how confident were you in picking up the victory on your debut?
Well, I think we were knee deep in pandemic at that point,
Mm,
would we?
True.
I remember, I remember I was on my way to the tip, taking some
mm.
rubbish in the car, and my phone buzzed up asking me if I was available to come and wrestle for Progress. And they were putting together a tag team tournament. And I thought at the time, okay, cool. I've had numerous tag team partners in my career. A couple of tag title wins abroad here in the UK as well. Um, no idea who could be in my tag team partner, and then the person I was speaking to that time said, "Oh, well, we're thinking about bringing in Nick Riley." And I'd known Nick Riley for a long time. We'd known each other for sort of 10, probably maybe 10 years at that point, and we've always met each other on the opposite side of the ring. We'd never tagged before. We'd always got along. We'd always been friends. We'd always sort of spoke outside the business. We had a group of friends that were together as well. We'd hang out, blah blah blah, but never really tagged or done anything that close together. So um, I got the call to say, "Do you want to do that?" And I'd always wanted to wrestle for Progress. Progress had been on it's sort of been on my radar for a long time. I'd been around the other companies in the UK, but Progress wasn't at that point one that I had been introduced to or had the chance to wrestle on. So I found that taking that opportunity was a no-brainer, really. And
Yeah.
even during the times where we had no audience,
Mm,
uh, at that point in time as well, there was not a lot of wrestling going on. There was maybe one or two companies in the UK running the behind the closed doors wrestling, which I was sort of involved with, sort of not. And I spoke to Nick and I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "Yeah, let's go for it. Who are we wrestling?" And then they said, "Oh, we're wrestling the Greedy Souls in your first match," who are also two people that I have known throughout the industry over the last sort of 10 years, maybe less. Brendan's been around a little less, but Danny's been around forever as well.
mm.
And these have now become wrestlers I truly respect over the years, and it's great that they went on from this. I know they were a tag team at the time established, but I'm glad they've gone on to continue their tag team run, and they still are a tag team today, I believe,
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
some good things. But Nick and I were very fresh to each other in terms of a tag team, and oh man, it was like we'd known each other forever. We got together and the tag team. It was like we just knew this was what we had to do, and we had a great match with the boys. It's a shame that no one was there to sort of see us in the
Mm,
audience, but it was great to wrestle in that environment with him, and I found that we really bounced off each other really well, and it was the start. Although we were friends before, it was the start of a really close friendship and bond that developed over as the years to come. But that first match, that goes down in memory as a good one for me. There's one point in that match where I think Nick's dropped to his knees, and I jump at him, and I jump on his back, and I drop kick Brendan off the apron, and Brendan supposed to go down, hit his ass on the apron and fall on the floor, but he misses it completely. If you get a chance to watch it, he goes down, and we slow motioned it for ages, sending it to him in absolute hysterics because he just falls straight on his ass. He has this massive bruise as well. It's fantastic. That's my best memory from that match. But
Love
but
it.
not just the debut, but it's just that memory is one that goes down, and I always would bring it up whenever around him. So um yeah, really cool debut, and obviously great things for us. We didn't have a name then. We were just Nick Riley and Charlie Sterling, so we had to go away and come up with something after that.
Absolutely. I mean, fresh off that win, obviously in the semi-finals, you did come up short against Lycos Gym. What did that
Yeah.
teach you about, obviously from a chemistry standpoint, getting to grips together? Like, how did that test your resilience as a team?
Yeah, I can't remember if we had matching gear then or if we just got on to the next round without the matching gear yet. We just knew that we had to get matching gear. Otherwise, you're
Yeah,
not a real tag. If you're not a real tag
yeah,
team unless you have some kind of matching
I
gear.
I
So,
agree with that.
it, so
That's
if we
true.
so we if we were not in matching gear for that match, then I absolutely understand why we lost. Obviously, our chemistry was not on point at that time. But we a really great a time wrestling those boys as well. And oh man, like Lycos Gym is as much as the Sunshine Machine, we wrestled them. Lycos Gym later as well in our time, as we will probably go through, became synonymous with us as well. And we had some some
Yeah.
some fun times with them. We were obviously at the time, Nick and I were had a specific attitude, and we were very like we wanted to just impress everybody. So we were doing our best to wrestle the best we could in the best matches we could. And we do that anyway all the time, but we brought a
Mm,
style that we tried to for our size as well. We brought a style that we tried to implement that was a bit quicker and faster as a tag team and try and shake up the ranks a little bit. Like us, Jim were obviously very quick themselves as well. But we unfortunately came out the loss. We did learn a lot because we came
mm.
back and I think we wrestled them again not long after that, still in the Peckham era. But yeah, great times, really fun times, really, really fresh and exciting times for us because this was new and we were coming back off such a sore point in the business, as we all remember.
Yeah,
Um, just very exciting to get back involved.
absolutely.
Yeah. It's obviously in I think July at chapter 115, you actually you had a chance for a world title opportunity, but you went up against Nick. So obviously you've
Oh
talked a
yeah.
little bit about the friendship and the relationship there, but did that sort of make it harder, sort of having that desire to win the match, but also that sort of respect for your new tag partner?
Yeah, sure. And I'd always, like I said, I'd always had respect for Nick as a singles wrestler anyway,
Yeah, of course.
because
Yeah.
we'd wrestled several times up and down the country and in different places, and
Yeah.
so wrestling him was actually in a way very familiar. It was actually more familiar than wrestling him than actually tagging with him because we something that was new to us. So it was great
Mm.
to get in there and have a good match with him, and I really enjoyed it. I remember that very well, and I won at the end. I remember, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, we were in the. I think it was. I don't know quite the stipulation. It was. Was it the? What was it? What was it? It was just a chance to wrestle the champion, was it? Or a
Yeah,
chance to
it
wrestle
was a
Cara?
number one. Yeah, that
It
was
was just
one.
number
Yeah.
one contender match, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember now. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, it was a fun match, really good fun, and it was good to go because obviously we got a new audience backstage. People who had not seen us wrestle in that sort of environment before, and it was great to show them what we could do as singles wrestlers as well as tag team wrestlers. And yeah, I can remember his insecurity hard as nails. Sent me for six. Yeah, I remember saying that after. I go, you fucking bastard. Had a lump on my head for a few weeks, but while we're on the subject, as a singles wrestler, Nick is a great talent, and it's I'm sad he's retired now, but
Mm.
Yeah.
he was a great singles wrestler, and although he didn't find his feet, maybe nationally as a singles wrestler, he definitely could bring it as one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. So obviously you mentioned that you did win that match. You did go on to have that match with Cara Noir for the number one contenders match. But what did you kind of learn from being in the ring with Cara?
That was really intimidating, that match for me.
Mm.
He was the champion at the time, obviously, and I hadn't really sort of, even though we were behind closed doors and it was very, very tight knit into what we did, there wasn't a lot of exposure to the audiences. It felt a lot very pressurizing for me because I knew that was going to be recorded and I knew that was going to go on, I think the WWE Network at the time. And
Yeah.
so it was very pressurizing for me. I knew I had to deliver, and I knew I had to give Cara a good match. And he at that point in time was the locker room guy. He was the man we all looked to. He was the talent at Progress that we had to step up and if we wanted to hang, we had to try to hang with him first. So
Mm.
for me, it was a welcome challenge, but an intimidating one. And I found it very exciting, very fun. It hurt like hell. And I remember I gave him a top rope back suplex, and oh yeah, again I drilled him. I remember, yeah, that was good. Get down, bastard! But God, I drilled him on that. I remember. Oh yeah,
Oh
oh yeah, that's one of
no.
the highlights for me. But Great wrestler, Cara. Great, fantastic, and wonderful storyteller. Wonderful professional, and it's great to see him back after so many years of that foot injury. And I was on a show with him on Saturday, actually, in Bristol, and just great to see him around. Great to see him back. The business is a better place with Cara Noir on it.
No,
Nice.
100%. Yeah. So you actually you went up against Greedy
Oh,
Souls
I
once
lost.
again
Oh, I lost that.
as
Lost
a
that match, didn't I? Obviously, I didn't become world champion.
No.
oh, so apologies,
No.
yes.
For those spoilers, I didn't become the world champion. Go on,
So
sorry.
obviously, no worries. So you now obviously Smokin Aces. You took on Greedy Souls once again. But obviously this time you did get the win, but you got it through disqualification. So I just wanted to sort of how you reflect on sort of that match and winning by DQ, and do you think that the finish sort of fueled that rivalry going forward?
Just before I do touch on this, have you ever tried to come up with a name for a tag team?
I mean, the best we could do
Oh,
was A2theK.
Yeah. To
Even
be
there you
fair, it's
go.
probably the closest we've been.
you know.
Hey, I quite like it, boys. Sounds great to me. Oh, lads, Jesus Christ. The pen to paper, how long it took us. The Smoking Aces was like at the top because I love the movie. The movie's
I
like
mean,
a cool movie. I
yeah.
was worried that the Smoking Aces was too well known. You know, you put hashtag Smoking Aces in, it comes up with loads of stuff
Mm.
because loads of hits because of the movie, right? And other bits and bobs
Yeah.
of the Smoking Aces. I can't, there are some other pop references in there somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, we came up with loads of names. We were trying to think of some like like the hot shots and things like that, and just crappy names that we were just writing down on papers. We were like, "What are we going to call ourselves?" What?
I didn't have this scripted, but I'm curious now. Like, was Smoking Aces, was that a clear winner for you, or did you have a pretty close runner
No,
up or anything?
no. So we were going to try and go with this character gimmick that we were like the boys. So we were
Hmm.
like we were like 10 out of 10. So we were going to call ourselves maybe the tens or the tens out of 10. But then we were like, that's too arrogant. We want to be, we're trying to be nice people here. We don't want people to think we're two assholes. We're going to go with the nines. Let's call ourselves the nines. We were like, yes, let's do it. Let's go. So we went with the nines. And then literally as we ran it by a creative, they come back to us and say, oh guys, there's a tag team in Scotland in ICW called the Nine, and we were like, we had set on this, we had fucking written a logo, we'd drawn a logo, we had everything ready to go. We were like, we're the Nines. Alas, it wasn't meant to be. So then we had to literally come up with on the spot, get the list back out, and then we just said, let's just go with the Smoking Aces and let's just roll. So
Yeah.
I
yeah,
love it.
Well,
unfortunately, it
it's
wasn't
got
what
to have
we.
been fate, though.
Yeah,
Smoking Aces
it
is a
was.
badass name, isn't it?
It's great, right? So at the end of the day, it wasn't what we wanted, but it was probably the best choice. But yeah, sorry. Just going off that. I just remember that I never spoke about this either, which is great. I just remember just the conversations we were having. We were just falling out, coming back together, falling out, coming back together of the names, and yeah, we got there in the end. But sorry, you were mentioning the Greedy Souls again, and that's a great name as well, the Greedy
Yeah.
Souls, and
To be fair,
when,
yeah, it is.
and when you've got pressure of the Greedy Souls and Lycos Gym, all these guys with tag team names, you're trying to come up with one within a week. It's actually quite difficult, as you guys know from your own
Yeah.
brand name, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Moving.
I never really give it much thought. But there is some good there's some good tag names in there, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
Sunshine Machine as well. You got
Yeah.
yeah.
That's Sunshine Machine. All right, that's Sunshine Machine. Great. And they built a whole damn freaking what the word am I looking for? Brand around it.
Yes,
Sold a lot. Yeah, I got lots of time for the Sunshine Machine.
indeed.
Well, kind of. Sorry, ask me a question
Um,
again about the Greedy
Oh,
Souls.
sorry, yeah. So to be fair, I kind of led that tangent as well. So yeah, so it was your match against Greedy Souls, or your rematch, should I say? You took the win via disqualification. So I just sort of wondered if the sort of, I suppose, the winning by DQ is what sort of fueled that rivalry going forward.
I think back to where we won. We won by DQ. It was a DQ finish, wasn't it? Do we have a return
yes.
match after that?
Yeah, you did face off again.
Wasn't until the.
Yeah, it was a
Was
bit
it for?
later on.
Was it for the crowds? I think it was. I'm sure it was. I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
think you were back then.
Yeah, we'd
So I
have
think
been back in front of crowds, wouldn't we?
yeah,
Yeah.
we won by disqualification, and then were they pricks after that? Did they stay pricks? Were they bad guys after that? I'm sure they were assholes after that. I'm sure they were greedy assholes. Yeah, I'm sure they were. And then we won by DQ, and then we went on and wrestled Lycos Gym after that, right? I
Yeah.
think. How can I remember this? But yeah, I haven't done any research for this either, so I'm actually just going off the top of my head. But
No, that's
again, yeah,
fair.
those boys. Obviously, we had those boys' numbers. You know what I mean? We beat them the first time. We were probably going to beat them again. I can't
Mhm.
quite remember how we got to the end of the match, but we were probably on top. We were probably about to win, and they decided to pull the rug from under our feet. So I have no doubt that we would have beat them anyway. But those boys are a crafty team, and they want to beat, and obviously they were at that time. And DQ
Yeah,
win's a DQ win, but it's probably not the way we
fair.
wanted it.
Victory's a victory,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, exactly.
That's it.
But as you say, the rivalry's not finished there, is it? We've got another.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'm sure we'll come back to that in a bit. But
Yeah.
before we do that, though, you did go after the world title again. So you had a number one contenders match, but this time it was the Thunder Bastard. How do you even prepare for the
Oh,
chaos of a Thunder Bastard?
yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Driller Maloney in that one as well, wasn't
Mm.
he? Yeah, 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 I remember that. So, yeah, he has me with some moves. And Jody Fleisch was in that match, right? Jody
Yeah, I think he was
Fleisch,
actually.
he's down in that
Mm.
match. God, yeah, crazy. He was one guy I always wanted to wrestle with Jody Fleisch,
Yeah.
just one of the pioneers, you know. I remember when I was a kid watching him, fantastic wrestler, and just stood down in the ring with no one, even with no crowd. I was just in the ring being like, look at this guy. He's 49 years old. I'm putting ages on here. 55 years old, and he looks like $1 million, and I'm in my late 20s and don't quite look half the man he does. But I try to remember who else is in the match. Sorry, you may have to remind me. Was it Luke Jacobs maybe and a few others?
I can't
I might
even
be I
think, to be
might I
fair.
might be wrong. I might be wrong. But anyway, regardless, the two that stand out to me in that match were Drilla Maloney and Jody Fleisch. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I came up short, obviously, to Thunder Bastard. How do you prepare? Who knows, man? You just luck of the draw when you're coming in, and
Mm.
for me, it was hit as many backbreakers as I could before I ran out of juice, and that's kind of how it happened, really.
Yeah, solid approach to be fair. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So obviously following that, you did actually you got your first taste of gold. I think it was roughly 4 months after your debut. Actually, Smokin Aces going up against Lycos Jim for the tag titles. Sort of what did that win sort of mean for you? Obviously getting your first tag titles.
it's funny you mention it because we relished the challenge, and we were obviously going to accept the challenge and go for it. For us, it was kind of it was a little sour because we had to win it in front of no one, you know. And
Yeah, yeah.
how much it was fantastic that we won the tag team championships, and we were very very happy that we had achieved something so great in such a short amount of time as a tag team. It would have been really special if we had won it in front of an audience. So, even though we won the belts and we were very very happy and we got to celebrate with the commentating team, that was it. We although we longed and we held the championship for a little while, I can't remember, but we did long for that sort of victory in front of an audience, which we did eventually get. But
Yeah, well, I mean, we
uh,
can we can sort of touch on that as well. As obviously, it was I think kicking off 2022, you had a defense against the Sunshine Machine, which we obviously mentioned a little bit earlier,
yeah,
and that was finally back in front of the fans. So just
yeah,
sort of while we're talking around the tag titles, can you sort of talk to us about your memories of sort of that defense and finally being back in front of the fans?
yeah. So another nervous one for us, you know what I mean? With the
Mhm.
ballroom at that point was a it still is a legendary venue for
Of
UK
course, yeah.
professional wrestlers. Every UK professional wrestler wants to wrestle in that venue, and we were coming into that match against. Remember, it's Chop Mambo and I think Coops had been established as a team before the pandemic, and I think even Chop Mambo won at Wembley, right? In front of
Mhm.
that audience, won a Rumble
Yeah.
maybe. Let's get Battle Royal perhaps, and so he was very established with their audience, and Nick and I were not. We had never been seen, and we were just, two lads who come up from, humble beginnings and wanted to impress in front of an audience and wanted to be nice. And they didn't treat us very well. I'll be honest with you. I remember it clear as day. But it was very important for us to have a good match with the Sunshine Machine in front of that audience, in front of the first time back in front of the Progress crowd, and for us in front of the Progress crowd for the first time.
Yeah.
So daunting, exciting. I think we smashed it. I remember the match. It was
Mhm.
fun. It was great. We did everything apart from the kitchen sink. Probably that was thrown in eventually as well. But yeah, yeah, really enjoyable, and we won. So
Mhm.
and we kicked off then something that would later obviously come back to haunt us a few times,
Yes.
where us at the Sunshine Machine were back and forth for a long time, but they could never beat us. We always had their number in the ballroom, which is something I think Nick and I held very close, as
Mm.
something that we as a personal achievement.
Oh yeah,
No,
definitely.
definitely. Unfortunately, when you did lose the belts, it was at the 10th anniversary show, and it was in that gauntlet match. Do you feel like how do you feel to lose the belts in that kind of match as well after
Yeah,
such a grueling?
it was frustrating, because the
Mm,
gauntlet match is obviously something that was up against. We were up against it. I think in the end we had two tag teams. We beat two tag teams, and the third team beat us in the end. I mean,
yeah.
you do the odds. You know what I mean? I think I bet any tag team to go in there against two teams. I mean, one was Northwest Strong, so Chris Ridgway kicked the shit out of us. Luke Jacobs was Larry the piss out of us, and we were trying. I was telling Nick to hit all those insecurities to knock smoke into their heads like he did with me that one time. So we did. We managed to beat them, and then I can't remember the second team, but we topped them as well, I think. And then it was the Sunshine Machine, or it was Drill and Reese. I can't remember, but either way, we were beaten by them in the end, and a great shock for the audience in the crowd because that was in the dome, I think, and that's the only time I've ever wrestled in the dome, and it was a fun experience. It was a good little crowd that crammed in there. It
Yeah.
was a warm day as well, I remember. So yeah, and I think we had green on. I think I remember green, but uh, yeah, really good fun. Oh yeah, and that brings me back as well. Like speaking of the attire, like we as well as coming up with a name, you have to try picking out the attire to wrestle as well. We had God no clue.
Yeah.
We were like, what are we gonna wear as a team? You got wolves with masks and tights. You got Greedy Souls with trunks. You've got Sunshine Machine who wear whatever color they want. What are we gonna wear? And we always I always took inspiration. I always enjoyed the wrestling singlet as a look.
Mm,
Yeah.
The cut off singlet look. Was always something I found quite fun. And Nick really liked the biker shorts cut, so that kind of differentiated us both. So we both decided to go with singlets in the end, and we decided to have the half and half, a bit like the Steiners. They were a fun tag team for me to watch when I was younger.
mm.
Not my favorite tag team, but just I enjoyed the look, and that was something we went off the back of, and it was nice because it differentiated us from every other team that was out there in the singlets. And then we went for different colors each time. One black, half black, which kind of represented my old singlet, and the colors was kind of
Mhm.
Nick's old characters. We just chucked different colors in and patterns, and then we went
Yeah.
with green on that day, and we were green by the end of it because we lost. But yeah, green with envy.
Love it.
But I mean, you like you say, you love a good match in
Oh yeah,
tag teams after matches.
you
Yeah,
just need to, don't they?
it's yeah,
Need a name, they need matching attires. That's how you know it's a tag team.
Yeah, yeah. I like a little difference though. I like a matching attire, but I like a
Mhm.
little bit of difference to split the characters. Because people
yeah,
forget
Yeah.
that.
definitely. Yeah,
They go, oh, the one with the longer trunks. Oh yeah, yeah, that one. Because they don't remember your name, but some people will, some people won't.
no, it's fair. So you alluded to it before, obviously, but you essentially set off a slew of matches with Sunshine Machine. First we had the time limit draw. We had a three-way with probably shouldn't have phrased it that way. Three-way with 0121, which produced obviously a ton of viral moments. But it was actually in your match in February 23, where Sunshine Machine were champions, and you actually turned on them after the match. So I was thinking back to that really. I just wondered sort of what was it that made you snap and sort of why did you turn your back on the fans?
Oh, we had a hard time leading up to those matches. Like,
Yeah.
and the 0-2-1, Driller and Doris, two very, very likable wrestlers, likable people, and established talents that were doing things not just in Progress but other places as well. So they were very popular. Sunshine Machine, very popular. I remember at one point we were doing a three-way match and it was just bouncing between 012 and Sunshine Machine. And me and Nick were fuming because we're trying to work hard to get this crowd's respect, you know what I mean? We're busting
Yeah.
our asses and kicking our own asses, trying to better and get ourselves over, if you will, as the Smokin Aces. And we we weren't finding that some of the crowd were with us very small amount, and others were against us. And it wasn't necessarily against us, but certainly not with us, where they were much preferring the other boys. And you can only take a few months of that before there's a little either someone notices or we notice ourselves, and there was a bit of a combination of that that led to what happened. And Manchester, I believe. God, I remember swinging that chair on Chuck Mambo. God bless him. He had a massive cut on his eye just there, blood everywhere. Oh, Jesus. Poor lad. Now, maybe not. But yeah, I kind of was swinging that chair and just hitting him so hard with that. And I think Nick got destroyed into the chairs or something, didn't he, by Coops, and that started off their Canadian Destroyer rivalry, where where Coops was trying every different Canadian under the sun to hit on Nick for every match we did. But yeah, there was a couple other matches in there somewhere as well. I think before we did turn, I think it was one in Cardiff as well, where we done like a multi tag team match. I think I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that one as well. That was crazy. But all those matches leading up to that point, we were always the third team. You know, there was always the two tough guys, and then the two top teams, and then the third team. And we were always the third team, and we needed
Yeah.
to find a way to get to the top team, whether we were cheered or booed. We At that point, we really didn't care. So,
Yeah.
and somebody else had come along and offered us put an offer on the table that we kind of couldn't shy away from, really,
Okay.
which led to us kicking our asses that night.
So at chapter 152, you were victorious in an 8-man tag against Sanity. How dominant did you feel as part of Dominatus Ragnum?
Dominator's Reign, you mean?
Yeah. However you pronounce that.
Hey,
I had one chance.
I
was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna smash it.
trust me. If there's anyone who sat with Spike Trevay and tried to get that right and wrong every single time, it was me.
Yeah.
Say, Spike, how do you say this? And he would say it to me, and I go, okay, cool, get it wrong. Bullet would come
Yeah.
mad at me every single time.
Yeah.
No, Charlie, it's this.
Are we
But
still
anyway,
debate how to say progress?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
exactly. I still do the American thing, call it progress, don't I? You call it progress.
So that night
Sorry,
was
anyway.
that night was the night that the night we turned on the Sunshine Machine. And Manchester was the night that we started the group. That was the offer I was offered. We were offered, me and Nick, an opportunity to buddy up with Spike Trevay, and the promise was simple: if we help him, he helps us get the tag team championships back. Fair
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
We had to be a little undercut to do that, so we did. And not to mention we had old big boy Bullet by our side, so it was pretty guaranteed we were going to get those belts back at some point. So we offered our services. He took us on, and then we started the group Dominators Reign. You were talking about the 8-man tag.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Yeah,
was
against
this?
Sanity.
8-man tag in Sanity. Where was this? Remember?
Was that 152? Where?
Yeah, 152. Can't think where that was.
Was that that wasn't the Manchester, was it?
Yeah, it was in Manchester for the Long Progress.
Yeah, 8-man chat. Yes, right. So that's where that's where our boy Axel got injured in that match.
Mm.
I remember. I think he dislocated his collarbone or broke his collarbone, broke his shoulder. He did something in that match, and it turned it all upside down. I remember that match. Yeah, that was the first time the four of us have sort of been together, and we were a little upset because whenever someone how much we hate and loathe each other when someone gets injured in matches, it's not great for anybody,
Yeah, of
and
course.
then how much we're not the biggest fans of them after the years of confrontation and progress. You never want to see a man lose his income. So he was on the shelf for a bit after that, and which was sad to see. But so we couldn't beat him, which was annoying. So we had to beat the other boys, which I think we did. I can't remember. Did you say we did?
Yeah, you won.
Yeah, we won. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I remember now. Yeah. And that sort of was the first time the four of us got together, and then we found that we had some nice chemistry, and we carried on from there. Sunshine Machine won that match as the tag team champions, right?
Yeah, not for
Yeah,
long, but yeah.
not for long, because
Well, that's it, because you.
the ladder match comes next, right?
Yes,
Absolutely, yeah.
yes, and obviously you mentioned there, so it was pretty much a guarantee with this deal that you were going to get the belts back, and it's at the next chapter in the ladder match that you did take the win again. So, what was it like, sort of winning the belts back, but with a very different crowd reaction?
That was a real memorable match for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it, actually. It was painful, but it was one of the first opportunities that Nick and I had as a pair of pricks to go in there against the goodies, and
Yeah.
it was finally the time for us to say, hey, we can carry this division. We can come here and we can say, hey, before we came in, we were the third team. We were the third favorite team. We haven't got to be the favorite now. We'll come in and we'll take the titles and we'll be on top. And you can chase us. And it was also a chance for us to show that we were willing to put our bodies on the line for the tag team division, which was very important for us to get across. Is that the match where Nick does the destroyer over the ladder, Jeff Hardy style?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That son of a bitch. Always coming. I'll tell you, him and Coops with those destroyers, man. Always coming up with cool stuff like that to uh to uh to get the crowd going. Oh, that reminds me as well. We didn't mention it when we first went back to Manchester. We wrestled Lycos Gym and Nick jumped off the freaking balcony, didn't he?
Yeah, it literally that guy will Canadian destroyer off anything.
Yeah. So
It's
so
insane.
here's how it goes. So here it goes, right? He goes, I go, Nick, we gotta do something good here today. And I'm looking up at the balcony and I'm going, oh, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? And we'll take behind the scenes now, but we obviously we're saying, look, guys, we're gonna do something off the balcony today. Everybody's keep it quiet, keep it quiet. Shh. Nobody done anything like that at the venue before, so we kept it very quiet. And I'm going around going, we're gonna do a balcony, we're gonna do a balcony. And they're asking me, they're going, how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna do it? And I'm going, I'm not gonna do it. He's doing it. And Nick's like this.
Love
What?
it.
Next thing I know, Nick's front flipping off the balcony. And all they did was say to him, step over, jump off, take us all out. No problem. You know what I mean? Nope.
Yeah.
He runs to the other side of the wall and front flips straight over the balcony, drops about 10 feet. No, it must be more than that. 15 feet. Drops 50 feet. And I'm looking around, right? And behind the scenes again here, I'm looking around. And I can see bodies. I can see the red shirts, classic red shirts at the time. But I'm looking around and I'm thinking, wait a minute. If they don't catch him, and like us, Jim, and I love them to bits, but I don't think they're gonna catch 15 stone Nick Riley coming down from 15 foot. Splat is what that resulted in. So I'm looking around and going, oh shit, I'm gonna have to catch him. Over he comes. I'm like this, arms wide, completely against wrestling psychology. Takes me out more or less as a tag team partner. And he gave me a concussion. It had an ass and cheek in my face that shook my brain for days. And I was sparked out for a bit. But I came back and we finished the match. Anyway, that's that story behind the scenes. There you are. I have that one. But
Love it.
and afterwards I think Progress had to beg for forgiveness. Beg for forgiveness, not permission. But that was the end
Way
of the
to do
balcony
it.
dives. And now every time we wrestle in that venue, every single time someone says to us, please no balcony dives. So at least we went down in history in some way, right? Um,
Absolutely.
Do you know what?
well,
Like, having been there
go on.
recently as well, like you can just picture the distance from the balcony as well. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Nick was Nick was loving it. He was cool, no problem. He was fine.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I'm all great, no worries. It was a bit scary, but I'm all good. I'm out on the floor, bamboozled. uh, Yeah, sorry, where were we? The ladder match. Yeah, that was when Nick did the destroyer off the top of the ladder, and I thought that was a really cool spot, and I did really, really well for him online as well, which is all we kind of want nowadays. We want the big
Yeah.
pops online. We love the stories. We love getting the shit in. We love getting over with the crowds, but the extra icing on the cake, shall I say, is the views online, and he got some good traction from there, which I'm always very happy about. He deserves it. So that match was really good
Yeah.
fun for us, and like I said, a real moment for us to take hold of the tag team division and become the top seeds, if you will, and then progress onwards, holding the championships. How we won is whatever, up for debate. Who cares? I think Bullet run down and gave someone some choke slams or whatever, and we just climbed up and took the belts to a
Yeah.
chorus of boos, and then that was all I wanted. It's all I wanted then from that day forward was choruses of boos. If I got boos, I was doing my job right.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
feed on it.
Nick always wanted to be cheered. Just so
Just goes to show you sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get on top.
you know.
But I do have to bring her to chapter 163. Obviously, it must have been filled with so many emotions. Early in the night, you get the win, defend the titles against Sanity, and then later in the night, in very quick fashion, you lose against the cheeky little buggers. How do you reflect on everything that happened at 163?
I remember that pop when they came out. Bastards. I remember that reaction. It was huge. Huge, I remember.
Mm.
And unfortunately for us, it was very sour day for us because the winners were going to America and the winners were going to go on and defend the championships in America, and we lost
Yeah.
unfortunately, and they cashed in on us, and I've never ever ever forgiven Charles for that one, or Alexis for that matter. But
Yeah,
yeah, never forgiven for that, and they jumped us that day and they got the better of us. But we vowed to come back with a vengeance, and we did.
absolutely.
Well, yeah, because obviously later that year, you lost out in a three-way match with Sanity and Sunshine Machine, but you did follow that up by winning the titles for a third time by defeating Sanity. So again, just wanted to ask sort of what your takeaways were from sort of that fallout, and I suppose how thankful were you for Chuck Mambo's kendo stick that night?
Well, I think at that point in time we had some time off, and from
Mhm.
Progress we had been away for a couple of months. I think I can't remember,
Yeah.
maybe even longer, 3 4 months, and we'd come back, and again it was another opportunity for us to take back what we lost. I think the reason being we were in the match was because we didn't have a fair championship rematch. I think,
Mhm.
which is, every champion should get that. If you lose the belts, you should get a rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe that's the case. You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
should be the way, and we did
all
get
rightly
that.
so. Yeah.
So annoyingly, in a three-way fashion, because you reduce the chances of winning. But I think it was a three-way. Was it a three-way? No, it was a single. No, a straight match, wasn't it?
No,
Yeah,
Was it a
you
street
had the
fight?
three-way match, but you was it?
We lost the three-way match.
Yeah, you lost the three-way, and then it was a straight-up match, was it for the follow-up?
I thought
um,
we had a street fight at some point. I
yeah,
can't remember
Oh
what
yeah,
it
no,
was.
yeah, obviously, yeah, no, it must have been
yeah.
straight
It
fight.
was a street fight then.
Yeah,
Obviously, at the end, Chuck Mambo at the end with the
Yeah,
kendo stick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you guys touched on have we gone past the Lycos gym stuff we did with the street fight with the Lycos gym? Remember that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. You had that one. It wasn't for the titles, was it? But obviously
Oh, that was one of
they,
my favorite matches. I want to touch on
yeah,
that
yeah. No,
because
of course, yeah.
how it felt to me, right? So I can't remember what chapter it was, but it was a Halloween one, I think, and it felt like an episode of Monday Night Raw. We the main event and the match wasn't announced. I don't believe, and
Mhm.
they started the show with a promo. It was Spike Gervais out there with the boy. I think we were out there. Um, Yapping, or maybe Lycos was out there yapping with Spike Trevay, because they're setting up for this big old cage match, right?
Yeah,
At that show where we lost the belts. Yes, yes. And no, yes, that reminds me now. But we had this opportunity to wrestle with the boys. The plan was to have a street fight that night. We didn't announce that on the show. We did a promo at the beginning, and it's one of my favorite times in wrestling because it was completely planned and booked that night. We just said, right, what are we doing tonight? Okay, we're gonna do a street fight. We're gonna go out there, see what the reaction is, and then we're gonna do a street fight. If it works, we're gonna do that. So we're like, whoa, okay, cool, we're gonna do that. So there I am, dressed in double denim. Never double denim in my life. Like, I'm straight out of the 80s. And me and Nick are trying to get hold of the Lycos gym. We've got Spike Trevay yapping, and we're trying to run down the stage and trying to get in the ring. I'm a little behind the scenes there. I'm testing the red shirts. I'm seeing
Mm.
if they will stop me from getting to Lycos gym. So I'm running down the stage from the top, full pelt, running down. Like, someone's grabbing me. I'm running back. I run back again. Oh, I was full of energy, and that's me all over. I'll go in there and I'll just say, right, what are we doing? Okay, we'll times it by 1,000, and we're just running it out and try
Love
and
it.
break the just
Love
try
it.
and break the rules of physics, try and break the rules of wrestling. But yeah, and and we had a great time on that show particularly. And then we went out and had the street fight again, dressed in the same attire we did the promo with at the start of the show. So to me, it felt like an episode of Monday Night Raw. We went out there, did the promo, announced the match, and we come out later. It was great. It was great. And
Mm,
we
yeah.
had a really fun match with those boys. And then they beat us in the end because I think they had to win the match to get the title match. I think I can't
Yeah.
remember, but that particular time when we were in the group, because that's right. And then the cage match for the same night that we lost the belts, I believe.
Mhm.
And that was kind of the end of the group then, because we we all lost. I think Bullet lost. I think Spike lost in the cage. He lost the title, and we lost the tag belts earlier in the night. So it was kind of the crumble of the group
Yeah.
in terms of our dominance. The group definitely wasn't disbanded, but I think that's the last time we've seen Spike Jonze actually. But the group wasn't disbanded as such, but it was definitely our end, the end of our dominance is a group. And that for me was one of my favorite times in the last times. Oh, well, actually no, it got a lot better to be honest. But at that point, I was enjoying being a part of Progress so much that
Yeah.
it's all I look forward to every month, being a part of this group and being in that position as the top team and as the pricks. But big, big, big shout out to Lycos Jim, big shout out to the
Mm,
creative, big shout out to Spike, Nick, Bullet, who were all a part of these conversations and part of these groups where we were just putting these things together and trying to create as much heat as we could for the cage match, you know, because
yeah.
that was the crescendo, that was the moment we were at the top of what we were going for. So, and they've hit it, they hit it out the bat. Like I would have loved to have seen that cage match in a crazy massive venue. That would have been incredible, I think. But we did it in the ballroom, sold out the ballroom, and people went there to see it, and it was a great finish. I remember Lycos Jim, who was it? Lycos 2 jumping off the top of the cage and taking us out,
Yeah.
and we all
Yeah. Incredible
Reese,
too,
everybody's
mate.
in there, yeah, jumping off the top, the crazy git. And I remember I stood on the outside of the cage and I was watching what was going on. I didn't know what was happening in the match, and so they're beating the crap out of each other, and then all of a sudden they're both bleeding. They're both blood all over their faces. I was like, oh, of course this is gonna happen. And what am I stood there in? I'm stood there in a white t-shirt, and I know I've got to get it. Obviously, I'm going to get involved at some point. So there's some halfway through that match, just Nick and I lose all our clothes because it's like we're not paid enough to replace these t-shirts. Well, these t-shirts are Armani and Ralph Lauren. We're gonna replace them. I think Nick had a Villa t-shirt
Yeah,
on actually,
that's
so which he could
wisdom in the
have
business
easily.
there.
Yeah. So we're stripping all our clothes off on the outside. It takes one pan to the center of to the cage. We've got all our clothes on, then back to us, and we've got no clothes on. But yeah. Really good fun and very enjoyable. And I enjoy those matches where I can just react to things. I'm a bit of a reactor in wrestling,
Yeah,
so like kind of my role in the business. I react a lot, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm a bit over the top, and I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of that time we were together as a group. Sorry to go on about this, but
no, that's
it's
what we're here for. It's what we love.
Yeah. No,
it
100%.
was
No, thanks for.
I I think if you spoke to any of us, you would say the four of us really enjoyed that particular time
Yeah.
when we were there. But yeah, like you said, we went away, and that's where we went away. We went away for sort of 6 months and came
Yeah.
back and re-won the tag team titles
Yes.
in that manner where Chuck Mambo came in with his old kendo stick and whacked the wrong guy, and and down went Damo. But you know what? I say this every time I talk about Damo, but you want to try and wrestle someone, try and wrestle Damo. Good grief. I thought I was a big lad. Trying to keep that man down on the mat is fucking hard work. And he makes you work for it too. Like you give him if
Yeah.
you give a Mambo a stomp, you can feel it. It hurts him. You're like, yeah, you fucking have that, you bastard. You give Damo a stomp, you get your foot back, and you can put it back into him again, and put it back into him again, and put it back into him again. All of a sudden, you've done it 19 times, and he's getting back up. And you're like, oh Jesus, Nick. Yeah, yeah.
Lovely.
Tough to wrestle.
Oh
So,
yeah,
we had
I
a
can
street fight.
imagine.
Did we have a street fight after that, or was that the street fight? I can't remember.
So yeah, that That was a street fight, I
Yeah, with
believe,
sort of him and Sheamus the
because
street
your
fight.
first defense after that was a bit more of a unique challenge. It was LA Taylor and Sky Smithson.
Oh
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
what, what was it? How do you prepare for that one? Obviously, very new competition.
I had no idea. I had no idea, to be honest. Yeah, yeah, very new to me and Nick. We'd never
Mm,
wrestled women in a tag team affair. Not that it mattered. They were both tough as hell and
yeah,
really, really good competitors. And yeah, they absolutely deserved that tag team title match. I remember when they came through the curtain, the reaction. I remember seeing the stuff online before. People were begging for them to win the tag team titles, and that's a team I'd love to see back in progress. Because
yeah,
I haven't seen much of them lately, I don't think, but they were really popular, and they were obviously gunning for that accolade of being the first women's tag team champions, right?
yeah,
Obviously,
of
we were never going
course.
to let that happen. We were gonna fight them to the edge of our lives, but there were some
Yeah.
moments in there where it was a bit, it was a bit touch and go. I remember Ray Taylor. She just would not try to stop suplex me, and I was like, "Get the hell off of me!" And then eventually, over I went, strong as hell, bless her.
Mm,
But yeah, really, really good competitors, Sky and LA Taylor, and I'd love to see them back in progress and maybe win those belts as well if they've got it in them still,
absolutely. Yeah,
which
us
of
too.
course they do.
Yeah.
Great. Mm.
Mm.
So obviously, after another successful defense against Subculture, you had the chaos, I suppose is the only way we can call it, of unboxing. So you had against Moth Dog and the pairing of Simon Miller and Jerry Bakewell. Um,
Oh yeah.
I just wonder sort of how do you handle the sort of absolute mayhem of that match?
God, I'm trying to remember it now. That was one that was kind of thrown on us. Was very interesting.
Yeah,
It was unboxing, wasn't it? And
yeah, it was
Yeah,
unboxing. It was
unboxing.
just absolute chaos for like 6 minutes or however long it was.
and
Mm.
obviously with the unboxing, there's no announcements, so we were just like,
Mhm.
I think we just came out. We were like, listen, come on, lads, we're not even on this show. Well, I think we weren't booked, and we just when we were there, we were like, right, let's sort it. We just put our gear on, and we're gonna just walk out there as the champs and say, hey, you want to go? Let's go. And I think that's what happened in the end. Forgive me, I don't remember the finish, and I don't remember the match that much, but I remember us winning though.
It's
So
That's
chaos,
the
isn't it? That's the
craziness of
point,
unboxing.
it was chaos, wasn't it? It was chaos. Yeah, it was. Oh, I tried to remember bits, but I can't. I'll have to go back and watch it.
That's it. Everyone can watch it on demand
Yeah,
progress.
we do a shameless plug there. Yeah, like
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do.
Um, so you started off 2025, you got the win over obviously French team in Blanc and Kuro. But 178, obviously that changed everything. Not only did you lose the belts to Sunshine Machine, but that was also the end of Smokin Aces, of course. So obviously just how can you sum up your emotions from that night?
Well, Nick had been talking for a long time at that point about hanging the boots up. Uh, he's a family man. He's got a lot going on in his life, and he'd wrestled for 15 years, 16 years at that point, I think.
Mm.
And and it was becoming difficult for him to juggle wrestling, to juggle his career, juggle his family, and everything together in it. And like we say, and like we all say, something's got to give at the end of the day. And
yeah,
Nick made the decision that he wanted to retire uh, uh, at some point, and I was very much on board with that. The problem is that we were the tag team champions of Progress, so I kind of said to him, "You can't fucking retire because we're still winning." So,
but
so and I said, "Don't even think about for a second of giving up, hanging your boots up when we've still got these championship belts. You've got no chance in hell. Says you're gonna have to die in that ring before I let you do that." So
Yeah.
um, it was very simple, really. We got to the point where we beat the French lads, but Nick's body was, he was healthy, he's good as gold, but he was a little beat up, and he was getting ready, and I could see it.
yeah,
And so the challenge was made, and we said, look, if you so the Sunshine Machine, they returned, and rightfully so. They issued a challenge to us, um, and we said we were confident that if we won, I can't remember what the stipulation was. Was it that if we won we would, if we lost, we disbanded. I can't remember, but it was one of those stipulations where
Yeah.
you know the Smokin Aces were coming to a close, and in the end, it was a very, very emotional day for me. Very emotional afternoon. First of all, the French guys, they were great wrestlers. Caro and uh, Angeblanc. I class. They're gonna be superstars one day. I'm pretty sure of it. They're
Yeah.
what a pair of professionals, and great professional wrestling they provide us with. So I'm sure they will be superstars one day. But they're not a tag team, and we proved that when we beat them. Uh, but yeah, that last episode, that last chapter was very emotional for me. I remember I just wanted it to be everything that it needed to be. Um, Pulling back the curtain, we were obviously going to lose the belts, and the Sunshine Machine were going to go on to take the belts for a third time, third time, I
Yeah.
think, um, which was great. But yeah, I can remember spending a long time putting that match together. I can remember going over a lot of stuff with them, and I think we came out with, we were last as well. We're in the main event, so the pressure was
Hmm.
on to really, really come out with something. We had some heavy hitters on that show. I think there was a world title match, and there was Tate and Eddie, and there was some heavy hitting matches on that show where any of them could have main evented, any of them. But we got the slot, and for us that was a huge opportunity. And like it always is, you are nervous, you are anxious, but we're professional wrestlers. We rise to the challenge, and we take it on. And I think we delivered that day. Um,
Yeah.
and Nick, and we lost the match. I remember getting he caught the low blow. I think I remember that was a great reaction. He got caught the low, not a destroyer over the ropes. Oh my god, these two lads. What did I mentioned? Coops and Nick, destroyer over the ropes. Good grief, good
Yeah.
grief.
And you wonder why his body was so beat up, you know?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, right. And annoyingly, Nick was in the best shape of his life,
Hmm.
the best shape of his career. Like I was not. I was very heavy at that point, and but Nick flew over the top rope, took him out. I just remember lying on the floor next to Tom Scarborough at that point, the ref, just looking at him, going, "This guy's a wally. This is why he's Scotland. This is why he's retiring. This is why he's retiring. That's what I have to deal with." I mean, he'll tell you he retired because of me. He had to deal with me, and that's a whole nother story. But no, it was a great night, and a really emotional one for me. And I remember the finish clear as day. I remember taking the old top rope move of doom. I can't remember what it's called. Um, yeah, that was great. And then and then the 1, 2, 3, and the reaction from the crowd, and them coming up and smacking the apron. That to me told me that we had done a great job, and it
Yeah.
was a very lovely moment for me to have that reaction. And then obviously it stayed in the ring afterwards. I was pretty pissed at the time because we had lost, and Nick had cost me my money. But uh, yeah, we move on. We move forward. Goodbye, Nick.
Yeah.
Great professional wrestler. Will go down in history as one of my favorite people and opponents and tag team partners. And good luck to him with his family in the future. I still speak to him all the time, by the way. We still
Yeah,
talk.
of
Cut
course.
sometimes.
But no, absolutely the right main event given the stipulation and the finish. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great night, great emotions, and
yeah.
couldn't have been more proud of him for stepping up that night. And I had to as
Yeah.
well. I was knackered, lads. I was knackered afterwards.
I can imagine.
I had to drive home after that 4 hours too. So I was like, well,
Oh, bloody hell.
cheers. He was all right. He was asleep in the back.
So obviously you started your singles run in style or super strong style to be exact.
Hey.
I know, bad pun that wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, very
So
good.
so I just wondered what did it mean to you to be named in Super Strong Style 16?
Yeah, obviously this tournament has been around since the ancient times now. It's a great tournament, and always so full of life and character and different wrestlers. I watched the last year's one. I was on the show as a tag team wrestler. Obviously, I wasn't in the tournament,
Mhm.
so I missed out a few years. I'd never been in it personally myself, but I was in it this year, and uh, my goal of the tournament was to stand out. My goal of the tournament was to have matches that were different and have matches that people remembered um, for me as a professional, as I wanted to. Obviously, if you come as you come out of a tag team, um, I was learning on the job because I'd come out of a tag team, and was it for me as a singles as a, and I was still the same character and the same person, so I had to try and make sure that whatever I did was a little different. And then perhaps the Leon Slaters and the Michael Okus, who would have
Mm.
absolutely tremendous professional wrestling matches. And my goal was just to sort of stand out and be a bit different and get to whatever position I could any way I possibly could. I wrestled I wrestled Simon Miller first.
Simon Miller
Yeah,
first round. Yeah.
remember that. Yeah. I gave him the Miller driller.
Oh yeah.
Just right on his head. He wasn't getting up from that
Well
one,
and
was he?
truly drilled.
Yeah. He runs away from me now whenever I see him.
Can't think why.
He runs in the other direction. I go, Simon. He goes, "Hmm." He's gone.
Love it.
And then I was at Will Cruz.
Mhm.
Will Cruz. Will Cruz was a fun match for me. It's very rare that I'll come up against someone who's my size or bigger. Because Will was bigger than me. So it's great to have that sort of match where I can knock back at him a little bit and have that sort of larger than life sort of style match, which was a bit different than others on the show. But yeah, that was where we did the old off the top rope, right?
Mhm.
Big bastard.
He is a big fella.
Yeah, and then thanks. That would have the way that killed me. Like I was done. I was done. I was like, nope, I'm done. Thanks, pal. No more wrestling for me for the weekend. And then suddenly, man's on his back. Ah, roll over.
Yeah. And then
Thanks
you
very.
still had Doris as well.
And then I had the Reese next. Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Thanks very much. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't going to take any chances with that bad boy. So I jumped him on his entrance, I think, and beat him up for a while.
Oh yeah.
He still came back and beat my ass, dropped me on a chair. I remember. Yeah, I
No.
pulled my hamstring as well. I remember. Oh my God, I was on my way home. That killed me. Head, hamstring. Um, but yeah, congratulations to Reese. Great opportunity for him, and obviously
Yeah.
a star of progress, and will be the future of the company, no doubt. But he will not only be the future of the company, but I'll be right behind him. So after that tournament, good showing, and
Yeah.
it's on the up from here. Oh,
Ah,
no,
lovely.
there's another match, isn't there? So I just remembered.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we were actually lucky enough to be in Manchester a couple of weeks back now.
Yeah.
It's flown over
Well,
anyway.
no.
But obviously he went up against RPD. Not only went up against, obviously took the win as well. So I just wondered, did you have to adjust your approach when facing sort of a wrestler with such a heavy sort of boxing style? And I suppose how did it feel getting the win in front of what was quite a vocal sort of set of RPD fans, really?
Yeah, it took me by surprise actually. So after the Strong Style tournament, I had realized that going the distance in a tournament is quite hard when you're
Mm.
heavy. And at that time, I was about 255 and 250, 255. And who keeps our eyes on weights nowadays in wrestling? But I believe me, I do. And I was heavy, and I found at the end of that tournament that I was fucked by the end of it. And I blame a lot of my fitness on the fact I didn't win. But so I decided that I needed to drop a few pounds and get my fitness up a little bit, and basically allowing myself, because a lot of these boys, they wrestle longer matches now. Like a lot of these top contenders, your Dorises, your Leons, your Okus, your Lukes, your Caras, like they're all wrestling like 20-minute matches, and
Yeah.
lads at 255, you ain't able to do 20-minute matches. You'll be beaten 10.
Yeah.
So the plan was for me over a fair while, just a couple of months, just to try and drop some weight, and that's what I have done. I dropped down to about 240 now.
Mm.
So
Nice.
I came into that match with with RPD in a much better condition, and I had to be because man, he was quick. He was quick,
Yeah.
and it was very, very odd to wrestle a boxer who. But
Mm.
I think he's been around for a little while, a few years.
Mhm.
RPD.
Oh
So
yeah, I think well, he's
so
about 5 years in now, isn't he? To be fair, but
Yeah.
his style is still heavily
Yeah.
boxing,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. So I definitely saw holes in his game because he brought some wrestling style with him,
Mm.
and which I found familiar and I was able to get on top of. But Matt, I think I did gain advantage of a few points. He was going for some boxing and he hit the post, and that was the end of his punch then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least for a little while that weakened him, and then I was like, right, fuck you, I'm gonna pummel the shit out of you. So I fucking bombed him. I hit him with everything. I think at one point I pummeled him on his head, and I was like, how are you? And it just kept kicking out.
Yeah.
It was like a Rocky movie. I said, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? A cliche or what? Cliche is a cliche. Um, but he just kept coming back, and one time I think he hit me with a punch on my jaw, and God, I went down like a sack of spuds. I remember.
Mm.
That rocked me, and that was it. Then I had to turn the gear up. I had to get out of there before it was too late. One back suplex off the top, one drop on his head, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. Luckily, but any longer, and I would have been asking for the towel, I think, or the ref would
Well,
have
you,
stopped it or something. I don't know, but
well, you talk about obviously trying to get into peak performance and peak fitness. Stay humble is coming up on the 27th of July, and you're going to be going one-on-one with Cara Noir. Obviously, you've faced him previously for the world title way back when. So, how important is it going to be for you to try and get the win this time around?
thanks very much because this is news to me. I had no idea I was wrestling Cara Noir on the 27th. You just broke that to me, so now I have some prep to
Okay.
do. And I mentioned him earlier. And I said nice things to him. Right then. Right then. Well, I asked him to look back a few years when we wrestled in front of no one, and I was dangerous then. Now in front of people with 4 more years experience. And remember, that man was away for 2 years with a broken foot. In those 4 years, I have been working. All right, I had a knee surgery myself. Blah, whatever. I was back in 5 months. He was gone for 2 years. I am a prime beef natural athlete, and Carnois, at the end of this month, he better bring his working boots. He can bring it. He can wear as much face paint as he wants. I'll just whack it straight off his face. He doesn't know stand a chance against me. I am hungry and I'm gunning for him. And he's the former world champion. And I can tell you for a fact right now that when that show is over, you will be looking at me and saying, that man is going to be world champion by the end of the year. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Some absolutely damning words there
Yeah.
ahead of Cara Noir. Charlie, before we ring the bell on this interview, it's time for a recurring segment that we call Quick Progression. So it's a lightning round with some fast answers and no
Jesus.
hesitations.
Oh, God. Right. Okay. I'm going to have to go.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Progress opponent?
Will Cruz.
Who's your dream Progress opponent?
Luke Jacobs.
If you could recommend one show on Demand Progress Plus, what would it be?
Show where we wrestled like costume as in the street fight. The Halloween
Yeah.
one. I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
This may have answered my one, but I'll ask anyway. If you could recommend just one match on Demand Progress Plus, what would that be?
I would watch me and Nick against Sly Costume in the street fight. I watched the show from start to finish because it's a great show.
Amazing. And lastly, the hardest question ever on a lightning round. Which four wrestlers are on your Progress Wrestling Mount Rushmore?
Charlie Sterling, uh,
Times four.
definitely,
Solid choice, yeah.
definitely Charlie Sterling. He's up there 100%. God, the Progress Rushmore. I mean, I've watched loads of matches, and it's guys like Walter. He was
Mm,
the world champion for a while. He was fantastic. Like Mark Andrews is on there because he was like the OG, right? Um, Cara Noir's on there.
mm.
He had some. He brought us back from the brink after the bad times. So, and maybe Rockstar Spud.
Love it.
Good
No,
shout,
great
yeah.
choice, yeah. Spud deserves a recognition. Charlie, thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck for your match with Cara Noir at Stay Humble on July 27th.
I don't need the luck. He needs it. Thanks, boys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. No,
No,
thanks
thanks,
again,
mate.
man.